Hello everyone, my name is Gerard Dragon Rider Khalil, but most of you know me as the Completionist right here on YouTube. And welcome back to our final installment in Final Fantasy VII Month. I am so thankful and overjoyed by all of you who have made it with us thus far for almost what came to be 2 months of Final Fantasy VII completion content. Before we begin today's episode, I've been informed by the Yeti that the Embrace Your Beer t-shirt is running very low in stock, so if you want to pick it up, now is the time to do it. It's still available, but be quick as the stock is running low. So, what exactly is the final game in Final Fantasy VII Month? Disappointingly, our last game is The Dirge of Cerberus, a game that has many flaws. Chronologically, it leaves a bit of a weird taste in a lot of fans' mouths, including my own. So, let's try and explore the mystery of the unique game known as Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII.
So, there's a bit of a genre shift when it comes to the Dirge of Cerberus. Let's clear the air real quick. Our previous games have been JRPGs, right? Well, Square has made a drastic change by creating an action shooter, and it stars the optional character Vincent Valentine from the main line of Final Fantasy VII.
That's really weird. Also, Uematsu or Sakaguchi didn't really have a prominent role in the game's production. The decision to make this game a shooter came from veteran producer Yoshinori Kitase. From the beginning, production on this game took very bizarre turns, especially since this game was made before Crisis Core.
This review will be slightly less structured like the other videos have been, and more centralized on the structure you guys are used to from the regular Completionist videos. The reason being, there's not really an overarching theme here like we've seen in Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, and Advent Children. So as we end Final Fantasy VII Month and shift more towards the traditional Completionist episodes, let's give a brief overview of the story. Dirge of Cerberus takes place exactly 3 years after Final Fantasy VII, or 1 year after Advent Children. The first thing we are shown at the start of the game is a cutscene of Vincent Valentine, our hero of the game, and Yuffie during the final hours of Final Fantasy VII at the Midgar Canyon. Vincent sees Hojo's body slumped over for a second, and within a blink of an eye, his body disappears. Flash forward to present day, and Vincent is residing in the city of Calm. While pondering about his life, a group called Deep Ground attacks Calm, with their main target being Vincent.
The reason why Vincent Valentine is Deep Ground's target is because Vincent possesses something known as the Proto-Materia. This materia allows Vincent to control Chaos, the evil being within him that makes him transform into his ultimate form. Deep Ground is a covert Shinra group of soldiers aimed to be the super soldiers through the evolution of Genesis's genes. The group was inside Midgar during the last hours of Holy and Meteor battling each other, and they were crushed and sealed deep under Midgar for 3 years. The Deep Ground army is headed by the evil 5 antagonists of the game, known as the Spheats.
Weiss is the powerful leader of the gang. Nero, his brother, has insane speed and strength, with his power coming from his ectoskeleton. Shulk is the young telekinetic girl with insane powers. Rosso is a sadist who's responsible for eventually taking the Proto-Materia away from Vincent. And Azul the Cerulean, a gigantic Tron-looking brute in the game. These 5 are looking to destroy the world using the Proto-Materia via the union of Omega and Chaos. Omega is the last remaining of the weapons from Final Fantasy VII that is still sealed away. Omega comes out only if the planet is in absolute danger, acting as a failsafe by destroying the planet and taking the lifestream with it to another planet. And the Spheats, with the Deep Ground army supporting them, plan on killing millions of people with the Proto-Materia, awakening Omega and forcing Omega to drain the planet while they try to escape. They plan to unite it with Chaos to ensure the end of the planet.
This doesn't seem to really line up with any of the story from the other Final Fantasy VII games, Gerard. What the hell happened? This all just seems so very out of place.
You got that right, Greg. The game does try to use Vincent's past with Lucrezia as a way of driving the plot. And even though the story is told well, it's frustratingly slow, boring, and confusing, more so than everything else we've discussed. Reeve, the man who controlled Cait Sith...
You mean Ketshi?
See, this is where it gets really annoying, dude. The game calls Cait Sith, but the correct pronunciation is in fact Ketshi.
This is becoming a pretty big mess.
Reeve is now in charge of a group called the World Regenesis Organization, or the WRO. This group is trying to rebuild Gaia to the best of their abilities. WRO essentially is Avalanche 3.0, starring all of our old friends from the main game. But the real unfortunate part of all of this is that Vincent has to relive his past that he already got closure in at the end of Final Fantasy VII. Vincent's emotions for being an emotionless character gets the best of him constantly throughout the game, and it really throws everything off balance. And if we really want to try and pull a theme out of all of this, I'd say it's forgiveness too, or maybe it's about learning to control your extreme power from your own well-being. It's not really that important. The game tries to make it seem like it's saying something, but it never actually does. It constantly tries to pair Vincent's past with this Fiat Shulk's present, with the plotline of her sister, but it just doesn't work at all.
So what's our goal?
Our goal is to stop the Fiats and Deep Ground from killing millions of people, stopping them from awakening Omega, and also stopping them from combining Omega and Chaos together. I think.
Let's move on.
Gladly.
Wait, why is this game called the Dirge of Cerberus?
Cerberus is the name of his main weapon.
Ooh, nice. The Guardian of the Underworld. Kinda cool there. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so the graphics are on and off impressive. Cutscenes rival that of Kingdom Hearts, so the character models are incredibly animated. However, there's a big difference between Kingdom Hearts and Dirge of Cerberus. In Kingdom Hearts, during a cutscene, they animate any and all counterparts that are talking. In Dirge of Cerberus, they actually omit some characters. It's very weird to stare at a robot-looking Cid while gazing at a fully animated Shulk or Reeve. Regardless of these qualms that I have, the actual FMV cutscenes look freaking amazing as they're fully animated scenes that are based off the Advent Children engine.
Most of the voice actors from Advent Children reprise their roles in this game, but really, the way the story is structured, it's kind of a waste. We get to see glimpses of Barrett, Cid, Tifa, and even Cloud, and it's exciting to see them back in action. But then you're playing as Vincent the whole time, who, don't get me wrong, is really badass. But it just doesn't flow well. It's too much of a roller coaster.
Well, hold on to your butt, Greg, because this roller coaster is gonna get even more uncomfortable with its gameplay.
A shooter? This game is a third-person shooter?
Yeah, this is the genre that they decided to go with, and while the challenge may have seemed fun in terms of game design, it falls a little hard from its previous installments. First, the controls feel very clunky. The game feels as if it's meant to be played on a mouse and keyboard setup, which would be fine for the PC version of this game, but on the PlayStation 2, we expect to use a controller, and it's pretty difficult to try and get the hang of it. They encourage you to purchase a mouse and keyboard, but very few people want to purchase a mouse and keyboard just to use for their PlayStation 2. Even in the game's final hours, I never felt I understood how to play the game correctly.
You get 3 different types of guns. Cerberus, a 3-barrel pistol, Hydra, a shotgun, and Griffin, a machine gun. These guns over time become more and more powerful because you can customize them by changing the barrels, adding a sniper scope, hell, even adding a certain type of materia. This is actually really cool, but the game feels awkward as you try to navigate the camera around Vincent. Also, if Vincent gets shot, he can just auto-lock on his target and shoot him.
Picking up briefcases with items in them is essential to your survival, but you're very quickly held back because your inventory is irrationally limited, forcing you to play very cautiously from start to finish. With all of this stuff said, the game is split into 12 different chapters, and when you reach the end of each chapter, you are judged based on all of your scores, varying from deaths, submissions completed during the main mission, how many items you used, etc. What's stupid about these rankings is that they're only superficial for the sake of your character becoming more powerful. So if you play the game right, you can max out your character very early on. However, there is no completion bonus or any real purpose to try and obtain the S ranking on all 12 chapters. One of the game's real big problems is that the game is incredibly repetitive just for the sake of being repetitive. Yes, you can melee attack, which is actually really rad, and yes, you can use the Galleon Beast Limit Break as an item, which is super awesome, but the structure of each chapter is as follows. Run straight, kill a bunch of bad guys, pick up the keycard, open the door. Run straight, kill a bunch of dudes, get the keycard, open the door. Surprise! A submission! Which doesn't do much but rewards you with gil and experience at the end. Find the keycard, fight the boss, done with the chapter. It does not change at all, making this game get stale really fast. Oh, there's also that little part where you can play as Ketchy. Sith? Ketchy Sith. You know, it's not fun. It really isn't.
In terms of completion bonus, or specific things to look out for, there are a few items you can collect. If you get a model gun and upgrade it several times with several thousand gil and combine them correctly, you'll obtain Vincent's best weapon, Ultima Weapon, which is just broken. You'll shoot down bosses pretty quickly, no problem, and when you beat the game, you unlock hard mode, which isn't that hard, especially if you play the new plus hard mode, which just lets you carry everything over. There's also a secret ending, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
With the WRO making one last final assault, we head for Midgard to make our last stand. This cutscene is actually pretty badass to watch, except why does Cloud have a hard time with Rosso? I mean, he's super badass, he's defeated Sephiroth twice now, he's a hero. Oh well. We finally rise up to defeat all the Spheats except for Weiss, the most powerful of them all. And apparently, he's possessed by Hojo? This is how they're tying everything together? The father of Sephiroth is using his ultimate plan to end the planet?
Of course we defeat Weiss Hojo, but in the midst of all the craziness, Vincent, not having the proto-materia, merges with Chaos to become unstoppable. After the defeat of Hojo Weiss, Nero comes back and merges with Weiss. And then Weiss Nero merges with Omega, so now we must stop Omega Weiss Nero. Alright?
Before we finish the game, there are several G reports, memory capsules, deep ground reports, and much more to collect in your journey. Getting these items will give you access to secondary missions that were all cut from the multiplayer version of this game, which was only available in Japan. Collecting some of these things will let you look at art galleries from concept art to full animated sequences. But that's kind of about it. Actually, collecting the G reports does reveal the secret ending.
The secret ending shows Weiss being picked up by another one-winged angel that is named G. Wait, that's Genesis! What the hell? Hold on, this game was made before Crisis Core. As far as we know, Genesis is dead, but that character literally looks like Genesis!
That's because it's supposed to be, Greg. Genesis is based off the pop sensation Gact, who voiced G and did two of the main theme songs from Dirge of Cerberus. In the case of the secret ending to tie everything together, post-wise, they claimed that G is Genesis. Gact went on to voice the Japanese version of Genesis because Gact is basically Genesis. There's just no denying that. That's what they designed it for.
Is there the struggle for this game, Gerard?
Not really. The game is an easy breeze of 8 hours for the normal player, and in a completionist run, an easy 4 to 6. It's poorly paced, the story is very scattered, I almost care about no one, the gameplay is a mess of a third-person shooter, and it's just kind of all, in my opinion, really bad. This is what we got after Advent Children, and I'm so glad that the results of this game forced them to take their time with Crisis Core, because holy god, this was just a train wreck.
Train wreck? Maybe that's how they were referencing Final Fantasy VII. Getting off the train? Yeah, that wasn't their aim.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there are upset by my opinion of the game, considering that the game's third-person action-y approach actually worked for some people. But I'm looking at this on a bigger scope of what we've looked at, right? Look at what we analyzed thus far, and compare it to the Dirge of Cerberus. Dirge of Cerberus suffers from what I like to call Final Fantasy XIII syndrome. The game on its own is actually not bad and can be fun. Hell, even one person can consider it's actually a good game. But, as a Final Fantasy game, it's downright horrible.
Dirge of Cerberus is, unfortunately in my eyes, a big pile of junk. It really is. It really sucks that this has to be the last thing that we remember from Final Fantasy VII Month. And if this was a regular episode of The Completionist, I would absolutely burn this title to the ground. But hey, you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They tried. Not everything in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII can be perfect, I guess. You know, I can't believe that the legacy of Vincent Valentine went from being this mysterious, awesome monster character with a love and passion for a beautiful woman to whatever this game was. Just kind of bums me out. But with everything that's been said and done, this has been Final Fantasy VII Month, or 2. 7 weeks expanding on the universe of Gaia, and for the most part, this was a massive success. Let me know if you guys want me to do anything like this again with a brand new, different franchise. And needless to say, I think I hit my Final Fantasy quota for quite a while, and rest assured folks, next week, the Completionist returns with Greg and I to entertain you as we have been for the past few years. Thank you again for taking this journey with me, and we'll see you guys next week for another brand new episode of The Completionist. Oh, and by the way, we just hit 200,000 subscribers. We will be celebrating appropriately in the upcoming weeks. Till next time, guys, remember, embrace your beard. Take it easy.